Hello and welcome back. Today we're looking at the Kyklopes boss in Tower of Arrogance on normal mode. I'm going to do something a little bit different in this video. I'm going to show you a very easy way to kill the boss with just these two characters. However, because Lakshmi does take 6 or 7 weeks to unlock, I understand that not everyone's going to have her yet, but once you do get her, this is definitely a very easy way to kill the boss. Then we have a more free-to-play friendly team, which I'll bring up on the screen and talk about now. However, because of RNG, you've got a much lower likelihood of beating the boss using this team. It's going to take you several attempts. You're going to have to keep your fingers crossed and hope for the best that dots are going to land and you're not going to get shackled at the wrong time and that sort of thing. As always, down in the description there will be timestamps which will put chapters on the play bar below this video if you want to skip to the fight you want to see, as there are going to be two. And let's go ahead with this fight first. We can keep our heroes in this position, no need to move them, and just end turn to start with. And then all we're going to do is cycle through our defensives with Lakshmi while Thea starts laying down some of that. I'm not going to use her ability there yet because her health bar hasn't gone down much yet, so I'm just going to skip a turn. Thea needs to have 2 stacks of dots before she transfers. I could now give myself an extra turn to heal again, but I'll just save it. I'm not in trouble yet. Now I will give myself another turn. And end turn. And it's time to transfer all of this over to the boss. And it did, which is always good. We can use our cooldowns for every buff that Lakshmi has on her when she takes a turn. She heals herself a percentage based on how many buffs she has upon herself. Let's end the turn. That's regardless of whether she hits or not, that's just every time she takes a turn. Let's get a second stack of debuffs. We're getting a little bit low here. What you can do is step away and knock the boss away to get a slow debuff perhaps, but he doesn't always get that. But the boss is going to come straight back. In fact, I've knocked him a bit too far away there. But he's still going to be in range of Thea, so it's not a big deal. Give ourselves the defense buff. As you can see, Thea is taking damage, her health is going down, but Lakshmi does heal everyone, so Lakshmi's going to take 2 turns now. Big heals, and skip the next one. Big heals, and everyone's nicely healed up. Boss hasn't got a lot left. I might just transfer it now. Do a knock away, maybe get a slow on the boss. We did get a slow on the boss. Do another knock away. And as you can see, it's pretty much game over. I'm just gonna give myself an extra turn, put defense down, and shove this on the boss, and he's dead. The boss is dead. Skip a turn. Just like that. I'll quickly go over the runes and stats. As you can see, we've got reasonable speed, pretty decent accuracy, but everything else just doesn't really matter. Rune is just for speed and accuracy, and tankiness. She has a few dupes, but they really don't matter because all this is doing is damage. There's no cooldown reduction or anything. She doesn't necessarily have to be awoken. You could just be using her unawoken with no skill ups and you'll be fine, good to go. Next we'll have Lakshmi. As I said, she's up the top because she's 6-starred. As I said, she takes 6 or 7 weeks of doing the guild shop before. Well, you know, you have to buy her shards and it takes 6 or 7 weeks before you have enough to summon her. I highly recommend you get on this straight away and get her because she is fantastic. Rune wise, I've got resistance on her because in other fights I don't want her getting debuffed. I've got speed on her, and I've got tankiness, and that's all we need, speed and tankiness. We don't worry about accuracy, she has no debuffs, but so we've got resistance instead. I have skilled her up to the point where she has her cooldown reductions, or effect reduction, turn reductions, and then stopped. I don't need to put more damage on her. You could rune her for damage as well. I've seen people rune her for damage and she does very well. I just like mine to survive for Tower of Arrogance main on hard mode. So I know this is a tricky one, so next we're going to move on to the more free-to-play friendly team, and I'll talk you through that. But as I said, this is more RNG based. You are far more likely to fail doing this, but it is possible, so I'm going to show you. Okay, so here's our team of Freya lead, Thea, Ammon and Ekaterina. We don't want to move to start with. What we're actually going to do is skip all of the turns at the beginning, let the boss come to us. We don't really have any moves that would... there's no benefit to us moving toward the boss to start with. It's better to have him come to us and for it to be more controlled. Thea starts off by stacking dots on herself. Ekaterina, she's only here to heal Ammon, so there's nothing for her to do yet. Ammon is going to be tanking the boss, and the boss does a 3-tile cleave, so we want to point the boss away from other friendly heroes, so he's going to be over here. And as of yet we don't need to use any moves. We can use Freya's dots to begin with. As you can see, the boss hit Ammon twice and did 70% of his health. So this is why we've got Ekaterina here for her big heal. And you'll also see that Freya has been shackled, and what we can do is actually use her skill 2 to transfer those shackles onto the boss and then move Ammon away, and that will actually stop Ammon taking as much damage. This fight is actually a lot harder if Thea doesn't get shackled. And as you can see, Ekaterina is shackled, so I can't even reach Ammon to heal him right now. But because boss is shackled, if we get Ammon out of the way, use his moves, he's not going to get attacked this next turn because he won't be in range. And the whole team's going to take a lot less damage. As you see, the boss just had to skip a turn. So we're building up again on Thea. We can heal Ammon this time. He's within range. He has his own little heal as well. We could probably put that on. Yeah, let's put it on. Just to top him off. It's only 2 ticks of heal over time. Right now I'm thinking about what the boss is going to do next. And Ammon isn't in trouble, so I didn't use invincibility. We could have been in trouble there if Ammon and Freya both got shackled, because I will need to use invincibility on my next turn. Whatever from Ekaterina, it doesn't really matter, but move Ammon across. We could knock... the boss has been shackled there, so we could knock the boss up and he won't be able to attack us, and that'll save us from taking more damage, so we don't even need to use our invincibility on that turn. One more turn before Ekaterina has her heal. She might as well just sit this one out. I don't think there's anywhere else we could move her. Now you need to think about where the boss is going to be on his next turn when he moves in. So let's do invincibility. There we go, and he's repositioned a bit awkwardly to the left, so we will have to sort of reposition everyone 1 tile to the left as we move on. Heals up on Ammon. Another stack of dots. Yeah, let's build another stack of dots with Thea, I imagine would be the best move here. We might as well pop our heal. It does give us another turn. I'm just thinking if there's a safe way to use his knockback, but the boss isn't shackled right now, so it isn't going to make a great deal of difference. We can put more dots down with Thea, so let's do that. Ekaterina's heal is nowhere near, but she can heal herself a little bit. In fact, that little heal did save her from dying there. Let's transfer this stuff across now. The boss has been shackled and he's got dots on him. That's almost enough dot damage to kill him over time in 4 turns time. So really, if we can stay alive, maybe another dot on him, we might actually be okay. I've got nothing I can use here with Freya, or I can hope for a speed buff, and we didn't get the speed buff. Katarina's got a heal. She could use it on herself, or she could use it on Ammon. Ammon's the safe bet. He's the tank that's going to get focused, so we know he's going to last at least one more full attack from the boss, and the boss has got those dots on him, so with these dots that should be enough to kill him. Even though people are dead, the boss is dead. Okay, let's look in more depth at the heroes we used. We had Freya. She is awoken, and she does have skill ups to the point where her cooldowns are reduced for her dots and her invincibility. Speed should always tune her to go last in your team, so that when she puts invincibility up, it doesn't wear off before the boss takes its turn. You can disregard Earthquake runes, they're just there for PvP and sort of intermediary flaws and Tower of Arrogance, that sort of thing. Next we had, I believe, Thea. She's had a few skill ups, but they don't affect cooldown, they're just damage, so don't worry about that. Yours does not need to have skill ups. It doesn't particularly need to be awoken, awakening just because her 5% heal every turn. But that will help keep her alive, you know, if this fight drags on a bit. But the main thing is that she's got speed and accuracy on her runes. Resistance on this boss, you probably don't want resistance because you want her to get shackled, but then it's still RNG anyway, so you know, just forget about it. Next we had, let's go for Ammon, because I can't remember who the fourth one was. Oh, I know now, Katarina was the fourth one. He does need to be awoken, as I said at the start, because it is his passive that gives him that survivability. Mine has had a few skill ups from duplicates. This is just going to give him an extra tick of heal, which is only 5% of his health, I think, so, you know, not massive. And this is just going to give him reflect for an extra turn. It doesn't matter. If I'm to be frank, you could probably do this boss without any runes on him. You could probably do it without leveling him up. He could probably just be a 4-star level 0 and just get enough speed on him. It would be good to put speed on here. If you notice on my stats, he is 1 speed faster than Freya, so that he gets that invincibility buff on him. And that's all you're aiming for, really. And then finally a Katarina. Here she is, still only 4-star. Don't worry about it. Her skills are maxed from duplicates, and what that's going to do is give her a very large heal with a very short cooldown on turn 2. You may be able to do it without duplicates, but you know, if you can get this cooldown at least, that's really going to help. Very much like Ammon, she can only take a certain amount in one hit, but for her it's 45, not 35. So she does go down quicker, but she does still have that ability. She will still survive one of the boss's attacks, double attacks. Her A2 is just to provoke and an armor break. You know, just throw it in there if you have it. If you've got full health, you can use it, and you're in range and you've got nothing else to do, you can use that just to break armor, but you know, not important. Her A1 does heal her, and this is skilled up, so the recovery is higher. She's got 15% heal if she crits, which takes us on to runes. We're on speed and tankiness, but we've got crit rate on here just so that she can get those A1 heals if she needs them. And then we've just got speed and resistance, just for survivability and resilience to the dots and shackles and that sort of thing in general. Very good unit to keep, always used all the time in ToA. Okay, I hope this guide helped you. If it did, please leave a like, and if you've got any questions, feel free to ask in the comments section below. And even if you want to see even more, a little subscribe always helps. Thank you very much. Until next time, I'll see you in game.